WWRR, Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, WMMZ, Berwick, Bloomsburg, Hazleton, WYCK, Plains.
Powered by Mohegan Sun Poano.
The River, 105 and 103.5.
This is Music on the Menu on the River.
Timothy, where on earth did you go?
Featuring Northeast PA's best artists.
Maybe, never mind. She can move me like the stereo, like a song on the radio. She's an angel in the morning, yeah, that's right.
And now, here's your host, Alan K. Stout.
So I got that going for me, which is nice.
All right, everybody. Happy Sunday night. Welcome to Music on the Menu on the River. Alan K. Stout with you as I always am. Sunday nights, 9 to 10 o'clock. Bringing you regional artists from right here in northeastern Pennsylvania doing their own original music. Hanging out with DC Taylor. DC, how are you, my friend?
Yeah. Good, Alan. How's it going?
I'm doing all right. You know, we do our show every Sunday, of course, at 9 o'clock, but we know what's going on right now. We know that we're probably real close to finding out who will be playing in the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah?
Championship Sunday, and obviously the early game is over, and I imagine the second game is probably in the fourth quarter about now, and so it will be interesting. Now, we pre-record this show a couple days prior, so I don't know what happened in the earlier game, and neither does DC. But are you rooting for anybody?
No.
No pet team. Your Eagles are out, you're out.
Eagles are out. That's it. I'm done till August.
Not even for Andy Reid in Cincinnati.
You know what?
Or Kansas City.
Yeah, something popped up in my news feed about, it was from the I follow the sports channel down in Philly, NBC Sports Philadelphia, and it was like, why Philly fans should care about, Andy Reid and root for Andy Reid. And I didn't get a chance to read it yet, but I'll read up on it.
Well, it probably says that he took you to the NFC Championship game, I think 4 times, and to a Super Bowl.
Okay.
And, and he's never won it. And he's probably, if he wins the Super Bowl, he'll probably go to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, all right.
Because you take the great work he did with the Eagles, where he came up a little bit short, and now going to Kansas City and winning there and maybe going to the Super Bowl, he probably becomes a Hall of Fame coach with one win. I wouldn't mind seeing him win. I'm a Cowboy fan. And I don't dislike Andy Reid.
Yeah, no,
I wouldn't have a problem with him getting the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he's cool.
Anybody but San Francisco or Green Bay for me, because I'm an NFC guy.
Okay.
And I don't like those guys because they beat my guys.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we'll talk about that next week when we know who it is a little bit more. We've got a great show for you tonight. We're going to premiere some brand new music, debut some tunes here on the show. We'll kick it off with a new one from a sort of new band. They're called Modern Ties. But if you listen to this show, you're very familiar with the band because it's Black Tie Stereo. They've been guests on the show a bunch of times. They've done Music on the Menu live with us over at Breakers several times. They put out a press release earlier this week that for the original project, the original side of their music, they have changed their name to Modern Ties. So it ties in a little bit nicely with the Black Tie Stereo, but it differentiates itself for the original side of music. They have a new record that is going to be coming out this summer. They're going to be releasing, the record coming out is going to be called Moments/Missed Opportunities. That's going to come out in June. And for the next 6 months, they're going to release a new song every month. And so they just dropped this one a couple of days ago. Great band. They've won 3 Steamtown Music Awards. Great guys. Like I said, they've been here with us on the show a bunch of times. And we've been looking forward to getting some new music from them. Modern Ties with a song called Outside the Lines.
She said
this is Eddie Apnell, and you're listening to Music on the Menu on The River.
I wanna feel the fire. I wanna know pure desire with someone like you. So why can't I hear the thunder? Why can't I feel that hunger the way that you do? Shame on my heart. Shame on my heart. Don't know a good thing. Shame. I wanna fall forever. And I wanna love that never feels alive. Letting you go just kills me, but I can't force a feeling that don't feel right. Shame on my heart. Ooh, shame on my heart. Don't know a good thing. Shame, it's got a mind all of its own. Why won't it just leave me alone? I wanna know. Shame on my heart. Shame on my heart. Don't know a good thing. Shame. Shame on my heart. Shame on my heart. Don't know a good thing. Shame.
Eddie Upnell here on Music on the Menu on the River with a song called Shame on My Heart. And before that, brand new music from Modern Times, a song called Outside the Lines. Now, if you're a Black Tie Stereo fan and you love going out and seeing them play their cover sets where they do really well in the clubs, that will remain the same. And they will keep the name Black Tie Stereo. And if you want to go out on a Friday or Saturday night and hear those guys play a bunch of songs that you love, they're going to keep doing that. But for the original side, which they're very focused on and very good at, Modern Times is the name of that component, but it is the exact same for musicians. So just make sure we make that clear for everybody, which they did very well in a press release that they sent out earlier this week. We're going to play another new one for you now. We just got this one. I guess we got this one maybe about 2 weeks ago. I could have played it last week, but I had Tom Borthwick in as a guest talking about SI Studios. And so I wanted to give that show to Tom as we focused on SI material for last week's program. But this is a band called Another Day Dawns. They're from Lehighton, which if you've ever gone down the turnpike is the exit right before the tunnel. So not far from here at all, probably 45 minutes to an hour away. They're managed by a guy named John Phillips, who has been a guest here on the program before. John is a musician himself, played in a great band called Our After that we loved here on the show, and John's gone on to do some cool stuff in music. He was the road manager for Breaking Benjamin for a couple of years. Now he's out on the road with Snoop Dogg. And he's been,
Nice.
he's an interesting guy. Known John for like 20 years now. But he's very high on this band. And John, to be honest, is the one that put the bug in my ear about Another Days On about a year or so ago when we played some other music from these guys. This is brand new from the new EP called Strangers. It's called Taste of Heaven.
Should've known right from the start. Should've known just who you are. You just want a taste of heaven. Should've been the same old story. Lovers fall in love, the end. But with you things aren't that boring. We didn't see the trouble, I stepped in. Red flags, don't lie, like the devil in your eyes. But I let your sex control me, hooked on all your alibis. Should've known right from the start. Should've known just who you are. You just want a taste of heaven. Now I'm falling from the stars as I'm calling out your name. I wore you back, but you won't stay. You just want a taste of heaven. Spit me out and walk away. Should've seen your colors changing like a mood ring with a curse. Slip you on and you're an angel. Slip you off, it's in reverse. No air, I can't breathe. I'm still tied up in your sheets. I pray to God somebody saves me. You lock the door, threw away the key. Should've known right from the start. Should've known just who you are. You just want a taste of heaven. Now I'm falling from the stars as I'm calling out your name. I wore you back, but you won't stay. You just want a taste of heaven. Spit me out and walk and do what you best do, but don't confuse the truth. You're leaving me in the Should've known right from the start. Should've known just who you are. You just want a taste of heaven. Now I'm falling from the stars as I'm calling out your name. I wore you back, but you won't stay. You just want a taste of heaven. Spit me out and walk away. Spit me out and walk away. Spit me out and walk away.
Hi, folks. This is Joe Burke, and you're listening to Music on the Menu with Alan K. Stout on the River.
Tested words in a little prayer. I bent my nerves to a champagne stare. As I paced down the dark hall, in my mind, I'm losing track of how to keep calm. Tied to correspondence. Restless heart, my only constant. A long pause amid the chaos. something more to a first glance through a window. It's sundown. You wave me dressed down to the ground and smiles awfully sure and long. Shuddered with a sense of rhythm. Counted ways that I could overcome a slow retreat from an honest bed. She hasn't even answered yet. Keep my sense towards a true north. A solid risk could be a reward. Iffy but introspection convince me to put my sense in. Like the treetops and contact. Serious if you're about that. Now I wish I could rewind this exact moment in time. At first glance through a window, it's sundown. You wave me dressed down to the ground, then smiles awfully sure and long. Whoa, no way am I playing in some game, loving just knowing your name, but I hope to hear from you soon. At first glance through a window, it's sundown. You wave me dressed down to the ground, and smiles awfully sure and long. Whoa, no way am I playing in some game, loving just knowing your name. I hope to hear from you soon.
Joe Burke here on Music on the Menu on the River with a song called August. And before that, new music from Another Day Dawns, a track called Taste of Heaven. You know, DC, we found out last Friday that the great Neil Peart had passed away.
Yes.
I guess he had passed away actually a few days prior, but the family kept it quiet for a couple of days.
Right.
So but what a loss for rock and roll.
I know.
What a incredible musician.
Yeah.
You a fan?
Yes.
I thought you were.
Yeah.
I thought you were.
Yeah,
I thought we had talked some Rush in the past.
Love Rush. Yeah.
Did you ever get to see him perform live?
No.
I did see Neil perform live twice here in Scranton at Montage Mountain. They played Montage 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
2002, 2004, and I think 7. I covered 2 of them, and my friend Mike Lello, who was a colleague of mine at the Times Leader, covered the other one.
Mm-hmm.
So we covered all 3 of them as a newspaper, and I did 2 of them. Mike did the other one. I can honestly say, after, someone that has gone to hundreds and hundreds of concerts with a notebook in my hand to write about them, that the Rush really stands out, the Rush show, because of the power that you felt coming off the stage.
Yeah.
You felt it was like a wind. It was like, like I put something on my Facebook. It was like the Memorex guy in the old commercial with the sunglasses. Is it live? And you're standing there and you're like, how are 3 guys doing this?
Making this sound.
This much noise. This not noise, beautiful music. Right. I mean, beautiful rock and roll music. I mean, just an avalanche of sound. And Geddy Lee's up there and he's playing the bass and he's singing and he's playing stuff with his feet on the keyboards. And Neil's doing all this stuff. And I mean, let's a little tribute to Neil Peart right here, DC. Cue it up, man. Yeah, I mean, there it is. What else? What else
Beautiful.
do we have? What else do we have to say?
That is a masterpiece right there.
Speak for himself, And there's this undertow of Rush too. You don't. Everybody likes Rush. Mm-hmm. A great story. My friend went to college, Penn State. He's a freshman. He walks in the first day, and he's in like the dorm, And one of the upperclassmen comes up to him, gets right in his face, and goes, "Do you like Rush?" And he's like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "You will like Rush."
That's great.
That was his introduction to Penn State University in 1987.
I love it.
And so, I mean, but you saw how much people love Rush last week on social media when Neil passed away. It was actually really nice to see.
Yeah.
All those tributes from national artists and local folks as well. Rest in peace, Neil, and thank you for the music. Here's a brand new one from the Boastfuls right now. This one's called Tequila.
Get your flavor out of my mind. I know you got it cooking, and I'm looking forward, looking I could get it by the end of the night. I want a little piece, little bit that I could keep, but now you already know. I know you know you're the reason I gotta go.
Hey everyone, this is Christian Gratz, and you're listening to Music on the Menu with Alan K. Stout on the River.
Oh yeah, all right. She sits in the dark in a crowded room, neon light, pale blue moon, people around her, and she's all agloom, keeps on keeping on behind that moon. satisfy you. Just to satisfy you, they do everything to satisfy you, give you blessing, to satisfy you and your diamond ring. But you'll never be happy till someone makes you cry. And I hear your call, but you know, dark lady, no one knows you. Think they're shady and coming for you. One more drink, one more look, but it's never enough. Satisfy you. Oh, oh yeah. Satisfy.
Christian Grotz here on Music on the Menu on the River with a song called Dark Lady from his brand new record, 1979. And before that, brand new music from the Boastfuls, doing really well with that track. Seen a lot of people sharing it and getting excited about the band on social media. A song called Tequila. Going to play you a song now, premiering it here on the show anyway. The first time we're debuting it. It's by a band called Ajar, and it features a drummer that I've gotten to know a little bit over the years named Zach Kelsch. Zach is one of the nicest guys that I've met doing music. I had the opportunity to sit down with Zach a couple of years ago when I was writing for the Electric City, and I did one of those up-close stories with him, and we talked for a long time about music. He's a native of Carbondale. He's now living in the Poconos. He's drummed with some great projects. Fighting Zero was a great band that he was the drummer with, about 10, 12 years ago. R After he played with. He did some work with Aaron Fink. He's a drum instructor at Northeast Music Center. He won the Drummer of the Year award at the Steamtown Music Awards. He loves all kinds of music. This project, Ajar, was out of Bethlehem. And they actually recorded the record a couple of years ago, but only recently did Zach and some of the folks that were involved with the record decide they really wanted to put it out. Because I guess what happened was shortly after they recorded it, some of the seams became unglued within the band and they disbanded. Mm-hmm. I was listening to a podcast that Zach did with our friend Melissa Kroenke, who does a podcast on local bands down the dial a little bit. Yep. Did a great job with it. Give props to Melissa. I enjoyed the interview very much. And so that's the background on the story and the band Ajar. That kind of compares this tune to like a Third Eye Blind kind of meets Rush kind of vibe, actually. Ironically, we were just talking about Neil Peart. Mm-hmm. Really cool tune. Check it out. It's called Get My.
Can you see it?
Hi friends, this is Tony Halchek, and you are listening to Music on the Menu with the one and only Alan K. Stout, right here on the river.
He was counting coins, hoping soon he could buy that girl her piece of the moon. His heart flying like a birthday balloon. There's no sound like two true lovers in tune.
Tony Halchek here on Music on the Menu on the River with new music, a tune called Things Are Looking Up. Tony just dropped that record last fall. And before that, Ajar with a song called Get My, featuring local renowned drummer Zach Kelch, who has really done some great things in music over the years. Very accomplished drummer and like I said, just a great dude. Now, DC, we're talking about some national stuff before in music with Neil Peart. Sometimes we don't talk about national music scene at all here on the show. Sometimes we do. Certainly we wanted to mention Neil. Mm-hmm. But we also, this was the week always that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame announces their inductees.
Yeah.
And they were announced this week. It was Whitney Houston and
I think
Notorious Big.
B.I.G. was in there. Yeah.
Depeche Mode.
And
yeah. T-Rex, I believe. I think they were the four. I don't think I'm missing anybody.
Doobie Brothers in there?
Oh, of course. Yeah, that was the band I liked the most, actually, out of all of them.
Of course.
Love the Doobie Brothers. So really happy about seeing the Doobies get in. I'm not one of these people that gets all bent out of shape about putting in people that aren't necessarily rock bands. I understand what the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is trying to do. I mean, you could make the argument, well, you know, is Aerosmith going to go in the Country Hall of Fame, or is Metallica going to go in the Hip Hop Hall of Fame, and all that? And that it's funny. It's a good point. You know, I get it when people say that. Yeah. But I think what the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is trying to do is be encompassing of anything that crosses over commercially through a pop genre of some type.
Yeah, I think I saw your comment. It's like, this is the week everybody complains about the.
Yeah, I put it on Facebook. I put the Spinners up. Yeah. I love the, I love the Spinners. I actually took a look and thought about some of my favorite bands that are in. Carole King is in as a songwriter, but not as an artist.
Right.
You know, that Tapestry record is probably one of the biggest records of the 70s. And I thought she would get in just from being a pioneer as a female artist at that time, and for that album alone. So that's one that I kind of thought about a little bit. The big thing this year was Judas Priest winning the fan vote. Mm-hmm. They do a poll every year and they let the fans vote. And I guess for the most part, whoever that band has been gets in. Okay. It's the people have spoken kind of thing. Mm-hmm. They didn't put Priest in, even though they won. Priest, a very important, very innovative heavy metal band.
Of course.
That, even through the 80s when metal got to be glammy and poppy, Priest never changed. They always stuck to their sound. Maybe with the Turbo record, they did some keyboards, obviously. Mm-hmm. Probably the label telling them, we got to get you on the radio. Right. But for the most part, Priest has stayed true to what they are, and they're one of the great metal bands of all time. You put them up there with the Black Sabbath and those pioneering. So that I could see people being miffed about. Anybody you feel a little has been snubbed?
I just that thought about, well, whenever an R&B artist or a rap artist is mentioned and people go, well, that's not rock and roll. Well, actually, you have to dig deep. It's that whole thing that all the music of the last 60 years is under the it's the rock and roll era, I guess they call it. And I mean, rock music, they talk about the rock music having its roots in blues and R&B and things like that. And R&B having its roots in some rock and roll music. Right. So it all ties together.
Just to play devil's advocate, eventually there will be a hip hop Hall of Fame, I'm sure. The genre's now been a very successful genre of music for 30 plus years.
Right.
And so, and then maybe, then that argument will really be funny. Well, are you going to put in, you're going to put in the Rolling Stones, like the Beatles, and so it just kind of becomes silly. I don't get caught up in that. I'm more interested in the people that you think should be in that aren't. Pat Benatar, female Grammy Award for Best Female Pop Performance, 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
I think it was 81, 82, 83, and 84. They probably think she's too corporate rock. She has that 80s. They don't like that. Yeah. They don't like that foreigner kind of sound.
Right.
These rock and roll voters.
Right.
That Bad Company, foreigner kind of sound. And Pat Benatar probably has that corporate rock vibe to them.
You mean the people who that sold records?
Yeah, exactly.
More than 1,000 people bought the record. It's corporate, man.
Yeah, I mean, like Journey didn't get in for a long time. Right. I mean, my God, are you kidding me? Their greatest hits record sold 15 million copies.
Yeah, no kidding.
Anyway, it's always fun to talk about this time of year when it comes out. Yep. If you got some comments on them, send me a message on the Facebook page, and maybe we'll read them on the air next week. Here's one from the Underground Saints. This one goes back about 10 years. It's called Plastic Scene. It's kind of a U2 vibe to it. They are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Underground Saints here on Music on the Menu on the River. That band kind of rose from the ashes of the Mere Mortals back in the mid-2000s. A couple of the guys from the Mere Mortals, Pat Flynn, Mark Keisinger, were in that group. AJ Jump on drums and John Smith on vocals. One of my favorite bands from that time period here in Northeast PA. We're going to play a new one for you now. We just premiered this one. I think that was last week played for the first time, or the week before. Mm-hmm. That's right, because we had the Tom Borthwick in last week. So 2 weeks ago. Actually, but Gary Carl did do this one at SI Studios, I believe. He does all of his stuff there. Great song from Gary. He's from out in the Tunkhannock area. He's been sending us music for years. This one's called Building an Empire.
Finding oneself through others' eyes, not seeing the trap or the toll of it, all under the guise. Let all tag along, all come for the ride, never knowing the price and the cost, and never swallow the pride. So you're building an empire, so you're larger than life, humble under the hand of God, so nothing fall on the night. Just come out tonight, your soul will be alright. Just a pat on the back and a handshake, 'cause you're under the lights. You're born to remain such a familiar sight, and reading the same old books and words, but the future is bright. So you're building an empire, so you're larger than life, humble under the hand of God, so not to fall on the night. Whoa, there's people to know. Whoa, it's time to put on a show. Whoa, there's people to know. Whoa,
Gary Carl here on Music on the Menu on the River with a brand new tune called Building an Empire. This has been Music on the Menu. We're here every Sunday from 9 to 10, playing your regional artists from Northeast PA. DC and I had a good time tonight. Yeah. I think we did anyway.
Oh, yeah.
For myself, anyway.
Of course.
I had a good time chatting with you about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Neil Peart. And I guess by now we know who's in the Super Bowl. So we'll talk about that with you guys next Sunday night. I leave it as I always do with the Badleys or something Badleys related. This is Brett Alexander, the title track from his solo EP from 2004. It's called Gentleman East. We'll catch you next week.
Two-block shadow, and they're messing with your telephone, and the same damn Chrysler's passed your place 6 times in 1 hour, and your contacts run to Rolling Stone in the middle of a falling rain, just before the rumble of the train. Black dog howls directly on your blue light curtain veiled terrain, and all the women that you deal with are decayed, oust, and Halston, and their rivers flow to muddy veins in the middle of a falling rain, just before the rumble of the train. Sense of time goes hungry, and the bricks of Belladonna's fall, and your runner's nailed by a canine team on I-95. But solid recourse cannot leave these walls. When broken kids play worn-out records, and the scratch hits harder when they're at half speed, I will